everyone, welcome to Me Series. This is episode 6. I know it's been quite some time since you last seen us because we've been quite busy, but welcome back for those who are joining us. Today we have quite a handful of panels. Today we'll have another one coming in after this. So today's topic is actually CMCO. Are you ready? So for those of you actually who are just wondering what today's topic is about, I was the one who thought about this topic. So it was actually a double-edged sword kind of questions that we are asking, like if people is actually ready for CMCO, and also a question back to CMCO if CMCO is really ready for all of us, right? So we have here a few of our guests. Maybe we should start having them introducing themselves first. We can start with Maxine. Maxine?
Hello, hi. I'm Maxine. I work in Nestle. I'm the media relations manager. Currently working from home for a while. Not quite sure whether I am mentally ready. Physically, I think I am quite ready to go back to work. In the office, I miss my chair and things like that. But I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about that. So thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you, Maxine. All right, so we have next Aaron.
Hi everyone, I'm Aaron. I'm a journalist. I'm a tech journalist actually. I've been working at home as well since the MCO started, but went back to the office on Tuesday, just 2 days ago, and to the office again today. We are currently practicing a rotational shift basis where we go back on alternate days to office. MCO has been pretty all right so far. I mean, pretty much doing everything at home and doing everything at work. The same thing, just a different environment, but it's been fun, boring at times, but it's the new normal, they call it.
Yep. Yeah, you're still sinking it in, I'm sure, because you just started on Tuesday. Yay, Aaron. Yeah. Okay, so we have Zhenhui here. Zhenhui, I think you need to unmute yourself. Yep. Hi, Zhenhui.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Zhenhui. I work in a consulting firm called Stratos. I'm the research manager there. And I've been back in the office for, I think, about a week now. And MCO actually working from home, it's quite tough because I have a small kid.
Oh, okay, yay. Okay, Zhenhui, yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. So of course we have our dear co-host with us again today, Cheryl. So it's been long, and thank you everyone for your short introduction. And of course, since for those of you who just joined us, if you're not too sure what the CMCO means, it actually means Conditional Movement Control Order. So this is basically a slightly more uplifted version of MCO that we have been going on to as well. So I think some of them have given us a little sneak already of how exactly are they feeling right now with this whole CMCO going on. So I think CMCO is basically coming into the second week this week. And for Zhenhui, I think Zhenhui, he has been working since last week, right? And Aaron just came in on Tuesday. So so far, for those who have just started working, do you notice any changes, anything that you need to get used to, or anything that you're trying to get used to with this new change right now? Zhenhui, anything?
Yeah, of course, we have all these SOPs that we need to adhere to. Like, now you have to register yourself and register your temperature whenever you go in. And yeah, just like Aaron as well, we have like split teams. So like for example, in my larger desk area, there used to be 4 people at one time, and now we cut it down to 2. But yeah, I'm not sure, Aaron, you are going back on alternate days, right? Yeah,
yep.
For me, it will be alternate weeks. So something like that. Yeah.
So you'll be working 1 week and 1 week off, is it?
Not off lah, work from home.
I mean, work from home lah. Yeah,
I wish.
Okay, we have anyone joining in here. Yeah, hi, Alin. Yay!
You guys have to deal with the all the checks when you go into the office.
Okay, all right. Sorry to cut off for a bit, but maybe we'll have Alin to just introduce a little bit of herself before we continue with Zhenhui. Hi, Alin. Maybe you want to introduce a little bit to yourself first.
Hi, everybody. My name is Farlina. You can call me Alin. I'm an analyst in foreign policy and security studies at ISIS Malaysia. That's the Institute of Strategic and International Studies, in case we're all going to get it confused with other things.
Good ISIS, yeah. ISIS. I already
That's a good clarification.
Must disclaimer.
Right. So yeah, welcome, Alin. Okay, so Zenhui, back to you. So what are the things that they have prepared so far? So they have taken temperatures and they are putting you guys into a distant kind of seating as well. Is it?
Not really distant. We are still at the same seating, but like my neighbor next to me will not be coming in at the same time.
Oh, so they will be working like different, like you say, alternative weeks. So you'll be coming in the following week, and then you'll be working from home on the following week, kind of thing.
Yeah, but actually it doesn't work exactly that way because sometimes we might have certain meetings that require us to be at the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why last week I was back in office even though we are supposed to actually only start this week. Yeah.
Oh, I see. All right, Aaron, anything different from your side in terms of what the management has done?
We're pretty much following the SOPs. The only thing which I'm finding it hard to do is working with a mask on from 9 to 6.
Oh, that's
Wow.
true.
That's
Oh,
So
that's
it's a
that's
really
true.
requirement that you have to wear a mask on the whole time, is
yeah.
it?
Like I have a huge desk. We have a huge desk. It used to be like 6 of us there. Now it's six
Yeah.
to seven of us. Now it's only 3 of us on that desk, so we spread out quite evenly alternate days. But yeah, it's then of course getting temperatures taken every time we go out of the office and come in. There is before the office, lunch breaks, and uh, anytime, any other time. But the biggest change, yeah, is wearing a mask and working with a mask. So it's kind of weird because
Yeah, I
I'm
can
not
imagine
used to
it's
that.
going to be very uncomfortable though.
It is uncomfortable, but we have to follow
It is
this.
very uncomfortable.
Just
Yeah,
for
I
in
can
case
imagine.
the departments go around, they go around checking out the departments, and we may end up getting fined if we don't follow this protocol. So we have to be doing that. But apart from that, I guess work-wise is pretty much the same. We're still doing the same work like what we do at home or in office. It's just the new change of where we eat. We can't really eat in certain places. We can eat in a specific area. We have to wear a mask, keep our hands clean all the time, get our
Yeah.
temperatures taken. Yeah, just those kind of stuff.
Wow. Does any of your work require you to actually meet with people?
Actually, it does a lot. Previously, I used to go out almost every day or every week, at least 2 3 times.
Yeah.
But now, of course, since this has happened, everything is basically either on digital platforms, be it Zoom, Teams, or Skype, or whatever we have.
Mm.
Everything's basically done online, either emails or video calls, video conferences.
So it's your online basis lah. I see. So
Yes,
Maxine and Alin, I understand that both of you guys are still working from home. So
Mm.
maybe my next question for you guys will be basically, how prepared are you in terms of going back to work? I know Maxine gave a little hint just now that physically she's very on in going back already.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think in the when we first started the MCO, before even it became the CMCO, there was quite a bit of like adjustment. I think in terms of like the if you spend a lot of time in office, then you realize that actually the chairs are really comfortable. You can sit for many many hours. And that's something that my colleagues and I are talking about.
You're just
Yeah,
missing your chair lah.
yeah, I'm missing my chair. My workstation is really big. It's all of that work environment that's very comfortable. But yeah, I mean, similar to Zenhui and Aaron, I had to go back a couple of times to office as well because we had events and things like that.
Oh,
But of course,
how
with
do
all
you
of
do events?
yeah, so that was really interesting. I had to organize a press conference, but it was like a virtual press conference. So suddenly you realize that okay, I've got to host like a WebEx meeting with this whole bunch of journalists, and we've never done that before. Then when you go back to office, then we had to produce like letters of authorization for people to come and do setup and stuff like that. And it's going to be a big adjustment to go back to office because I mean we're also on team segregation. So some of my colleagues are already in office this week, and then I'll be going back to office next week. But we're still encouraged to work from home. I mean, for Nestle, because we're in Kota Damansara, so that tower itself by right has about 800 Nestle staff. So they really want to reduce the building occupancy. So most of us are still encouraged to work from home. And even when you go there, there's like a specific time slot of like this floor to this floor, you come in at this time. This floor,
Yeah.
this floor, you come in at a specific
wow.
time. And each of the lifts have usually the morning rush, like you cram and like your face is near the elevator door. That's how much pack, that's how many people you can pack into a lift. But now you can't do that anymore. It's like
Yes,
basically
yes.
5 people per elevator. I don't know how they're going to do that, but you've got spots of like like your footprints, and you're supposed to stand at the footprint.
Yeah, I
You
hope
know,
they say they put boxes and stuff like that, just so that you can only stand this side, and then you can only stand that corner.
So there's 4 people who have to stand, each of them facing a steel wall, and then somebody in the middle. So when I go back on Monday, I don't even know how I'm gonna get into office, because I'm sure the traffic is gonna be pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, Alin, anything to add? How are you prepared to going back to work?
I can't really say that I'm actually prepared to go back to get out of the house. I think somehow like staying in the house for like 2 months have made me realize I can actually kind of live in this kind of like enclosed space for a long period of time. Also, I think maybe because in comparison to Maxine, my office probably has like around 60 people. So there's actually ample room for social distancing, and we've got like a yard at the front. So you can actually give people time out. Okay, you sit in the yard, and then you would like you get the room today or something like that.
So you can have an outdoor view, and then you can have an indoor view kind of thing.
You have quite a lot of space, except for the fact that I think it's an old building, so the ventilation can be a bit of a concern. I think ours, so
yes.
in that sense, like our we my concern is a little bit less in regards to like the building and the people, but I think a majority of the work that I do is sometimes with research, and research inspiration comes at very strange hours.
Yeah.
So I'm the type that I get my inspiration at like 3 or 4 in the morning. But if you have a meeting at like 9, then that means you have to sleep, and then you actually have to write it out like at 3 or 4, and then you have to wake up by like 7 to actually go to work by 9, right? But so this MCO has actually been great in terms of productivity if you do research. But the other half
forever.
but unfortunately, there's no off moment, right?
Oh yeah,
But I think
that's
the other problem is the
Which is,
second
to be
part of-
honest, I also feel that when I'm working from home, I work harder than when I'm working compared to me working physically.
That's true.
It's like
That's
now,
true.
completely agree.
weekdays, weeknights, weekends is like my boss.
What
can text me
holiday?
like, oh,
No
yeah,
barriers.
public holiday? What public holiday? Oh, we are supposed to
1
we have
a.m.,
2
3
public
a.m.
holidays in a consecutive. I don't feel there's a public holiday because I'm still working.
And you can't tell people, oh, I've got to, be in traffic or drive for a meeting. I can't talk to you anymore. You're like,
Yeah, you cannot
my
use that
partner
as a
is
reason now,
tell
right?
my boss I can't be there.
Yeah, no, I had an issue. I think the other day I had a conversation with I think a colleague of mine about what if we're actually sick and then you actually have an MC, you need an MC or something like that, and then you're like, how do you actually tell the person? It's like, I'm sick, by the way. It's like I can't.
I know.
You turn
know,
your
I-
camera and then you cough like,
Yeah, to be honest, right now I'm a bit worried of getting sick right now. Not because I don't want to go see the doctor or because people will think that, oh, are you getting this or not? It's not because of that. It's like the hassle they have to go through to tell people that I'm sick. Like, can you please don't text me? I don't want to work. I'm supposed to take MC today. I do not know how to tell people about that.
Yeah, and then it's like Raya in 2 weeks' time, right? And I'm like thinking, it's like, do I just submit a letter or something like that and actually tell people, it's like,
apply
by the way,
for
can I
leave,
take my
right?
3 days off? Yeah. So I think the
But you
SOP
still have
looking for
your
more.
right to take. Yeah, you still have your right to take MCs. I mean, if you're really sick, it is your right as an employee to get MCs and
Agree.
even to apply for leave and all that. And if
Agree.
your superiors actually ask you to work on weekends and public holidays, you can actually say no. You have that right to say no. In my company, we don't get disturbed on weekends or public holidays, but sometimes I do it on my own. But we don't have that habit of disturbing our colleagues on weekends. Once we're done with work, we're done with work. But I know other companies that you have that habit of going to the office.
Like Cheryl, try telling our boss, that hey,
they
today's
can't do anything
weekend,
to you.
It's
They
like
can't do anything to you. Yeah.
she and I will understand how it feels, because our boss, she will say it very nicely. You kind of feel bad that you don't respond to her because she'll say, "I'm so sorry, today is Saturday, everyone, but I really need to hope that you guys can just reply." I feel bad. It's like she apologizes and she knows that it's a Saturday, but she still wants us to reply her. So what do you want us to say? I was like, okay,
Pay
right,
me for the reply.
No, I think like
I mean, it should be like that. Yeah. There should be a work-life balance. Yeah.
Correct.
The problem is
exactly.
that because like you have different working with research lah. Let's just say you have different working peak performance, right? So let's just say I'm
Yeah.
at 3 to 4 in the morning. But then does that mean that I'm not actually awake from like 9 to 5? Because that's when I actually need to interact with other human beings.
Yeah. Correct.
At the 3 to 4 in the morning.
But that's an interesting question, right? So does it mean that now those of you who are working from home, when you're working from home, do you still keep the same hours in terms of work, or have you changed those hours? It's more flexible. Maybe you start later, you sleep later. Does it work that way, or you're still keeping those nine
I
to six,
still
8 to 5?
keep. I pretty much still keep to my hours 9 to 6. In fact, even my lunch hour, I'll keep it in between that 1 hour. I have to maintain that self-discipline. Otherwise, I will not. The bed is there, the couch is there, the TV is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do go and take
Yeah.
breaks in between, but I still make sure I come back and do my work and finish it, whatever needs to be done in that specific hour. Yeah, sometimes of course you do find yourself working a bit extra, a bit earlier or longer hours
Yeah.
on the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, what goes into your own time management, how you manage your workloads basically.
True. It's really to get use of balancing your working hours. I think I agree to that. Yeah. Suddenly you've been very, very quiet, which I'm a bit scared when you're quiet. So please share with us. How have you been keeping that? Because you were mentioning
Why
a
are you
little bit
scared?
just now. No, you've been mentioning a little bit just now that you have a baby at home. So how do you keep track of your hours? So are you glad that you're now going back to work? So that you have some your own me time.
Yeah, definitely. So working from home with a kid, it's really like, because you'll be doing extra work. Basically, you're doing two jobs. Doing
Uh,
doing
you,
your
you
job.
can you can shift your head to the right side because you have a mommy there who's also working from home and she has also a kid to take care. She's doing two jobs as well.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. So this is the time where, if people have not realized yet, this time when you realize that actually, homemakers' jobs are, really important, and they do not get compensated for it.
Yeah,
So
shout out.
it's very, very tough
Wow.
job.
Yeah, man. It's not for the mommies but the
It's
daddies as well. Both.
Yeah, basically
It's not a
full-time
joke. It's not a
homemakers
joke.
actually, they have really, really tough job, and dealing with kids is really, really tough. So
Wow.
yeah, now it's kind of like some weight off my shoulders, because I can finally send my kid back to the babysitter again. And,
Oh, they're
Oh.
open back again.
Your
I
babysitter
mean,
is back to work.
mine's a personal babysitter.
So 1-to-1 lah. Okay lah. 1-to-1 still okay.
Yeah, so
1-to-1 still.
then at least both myself and my wife actually can concentrate on work, because if not, it's really, really difficult. And I think even in terms of the discipline, I think that's an interesting question just now. Yeah, it depends. I think I've heard some companies, they have like every morning you have to like be on camera at 9, right? And then they have this
Yeah, we
very,
have that every daily morning.
yeah. So then you can't run away, right? You have to have that.
I have
fixed
a
time.
feeling that that's how my boss kind of track like whether are we working or not, because I noticed that almost 9 or 9-ish, 8-ish in the morning, she will text in a group and say, okay, everyone, I need you guys this.
Definitely lah.
No, but is
But
it a
that's
generational thing, right?
that's why she tagged who replied, because whoever replied means this person is awake, she's working right now.
So you
Sometimes as a
better
team,
reply.
Because is your boss like from the baby boomer generation?
no.
Right. Then they have no excuse because there's a classic baby boomer generational
The
behavior.
9 a.m. sharp
Yeah,
meeting.
But I
Schedule
can
morning.
sense it. I think it's a trend because it's a trend because she's texting and then she's waiting like how many person replied. It always comes with a question
Yeah,
mark.
yeah,
So
I know.
it's
I
No,
not
remember.
she's
normal.
doing it. She just wants to know whether you are working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always place
But
my.
I
I
think it's just because she's kind of a workaholic. I don't think it has to do with that specifically.
No lah, because sometimes I kind of
She's just a
wonder,
workaholic.
maybe she's just workaholic. So that I always put my phone next to my bed, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, there's a text. Let me check. Oh, okay, I better put an emoticon, say okay, or and then okay, go back, please.
But the thing is, during office hours, they have the right. Your bosses have the right to ask you
Yeah,
to
it's
come
true.
on
It's true.
camera.
I agree. So I think maybe it's
Yeah.
just their subtle way of tracking whether are you awake, are you working, kind of thing. So I guess that's the way how they kind of track it. Like, okay, this is a little out of the working a little out of working context question. How many of you actually went out already? Like went out to after this CMCO thing to maybe eat or buy
Not eat,
groceries or
but buy
whatever.
stuff. Yeah.
Not
Home
even
stuff.
that.
Buy
That's,
stuff
that's
lah.
very close to
So
it.
Don't
okay,
do it.
Zenhu, you
Even
haven't
during
gone out yet.
MCO. No,
No,
even during
after
During
during
MCO, no lah, the recent one.
CMCO.
Yeah, CMCO.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, because
CMCO.
even during MCO, I've been going out to buy groceries. So
Yeah, that one.
But
Yeah, that.
nowadays,
That's
yeah. So now the thing is,
shopping.
my question is because now they are implementing all this SOP, not only with the working environment, but also where you go buy groceries, when you go out and eat and everything. Now ask you to sign up and everything. Also, what are your takes about it? Like, what do you think about this new implementation? Are you used to it now or what?
So maybe I can share a little bit first because I went shopping for the first time, non-grocery shopping one, just like just walking around Wantama, and this was this week when they just lifted it, and it's really crazy because when you enter, then you of course you have to write down your details, your name, your phone number, your IC number. I think we were having a chat in terms of like that data privacy as well. So
you
once
have
you
to
write
write it
down,
down, or was it like scans with
um,
your phone and stuff like that? So it's
They have
pretty
both.
hard.
Some shops you write
I
down, some
know.
shops you have the app. Yeah.
So then, first when I went to Wantama, like you can scan it, the QR code, and then after you scan, you still have to put in all your information. Then the guard will of course take your temperature. Then you have to mark down your temperature inside, that app. And then when you subsequently go to every single store, you have to write down either in their logbook or in the app that they will scan the exact same thing every single store. So I had the case where I wanted to buy like a cable from Samsung. So and then all of them have their Velcro on the outside. So I was like, "Bang, do you have this cable?" So they're like, "Yeah." So I said, "Okay." So I wrote down everything, and then I went inside, and he showed me the wrong cable, and I was like, "I don't want that," and I walked out. So basically, it took me like 5 minutes just to enter the store, not even to
Yeah.
get anything, and I was like, "I'm just not gonna go out again." So I went.
So
I went to like.
you had to queue up as well, right? To enter
Yeah,
the
because
store.
they limit the number of people in the shop. That's right.
Yeah, but there were very few people. It was like,
No,
and
they,
it was
they, they limit. They really like 3 or 5 per shop. Yeah.
it was quite dead. Like, I think maybe because at that time it was just the first week that the CMCO started or people started going back to shopping complex. So it's really dead. For one Utama, it was super dead on a weekend.
I was in Sunway Pyramid on what day? Saturday, Sunday, one of those days. And even there, but what I like about Pyramid was they had like thermal cameras everywhere. So the moment you enter the mall, you didn't have to write down anything. You just walk in, it gets your temperature, you can see it on the screen itself. But when you enter each shop, each outlet there, you have to write down your name and your contact number. Some were using the app, the Sri Lanka app, but some you had to write down. But surprisingly and interestingly as well, a lot of shops were still closed. I don't know if the businesses have gone bust or they're just not opening. Restaurants were still not open because at that time you couldn't have a dine-in yet. Now only you can. And it was very small crowds, like only about less than about a handful of very, very few people. The only place that was crowded was the supermarket. Yeah, the only place that was crowded was the supermarket. Aeon supermarket, there was a queue. But the rest, we were walking around the mall and hardly anyone. You could just literally run around.
I actually heard as well that my mom was saying that she went to the pharmacies. Even the pharmacies now, you need to jot down your information.
Every shop, every business
It's
basically.
actually a requirement. Yeah, because then they would actually know.
Yeah, on Monday, they didn't require us to write down anything. Surprisingly, we just
that's
they were
great.
just.
When was this?
This was on Monday.
On Monday.
Monday.
But
That's
did they
right,
scan you when you go in?
They have a thermal camera as well where they get your temperature.
Yeah,
And
it's
then you
probably
just
one of
walk
those
in.
AI
You
ones.
have to wear a mask,
Apa dia
but
nama?
you don't take down your name or your number. And I could just walk up and see the furniture and all that. There was nothing taken at all.
So is
And
it a
people-
requirement? Is it a requirement that you have to wear a mask as long
No.
as you're out? No.
Oh, it isn't. Is
It's
it a
not.
government requirement now? No, I thought it was like
No.
encouraged.
It goes down to the I don't think it's a requirement. I think it goes down to the business if they want you to wear a mask or not. But for officers in office, yes, you have to wear. But if you're going out to places like this, it's not really a requirement
But it's
unless
like almost like
the business requires you lah. But it's
But
at the end of the day, you would want to wear a mask as well, right? You wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, like, especially you're going to public places. Isn't that more of a requirement for you to
Yeah.
wear a mask compared to, like, in a working environment space, the kind of thing?
Yeah, I think people get shamed for not wearing masks. It's like almost
Yeah,
culturally unaccepted
You guys,
to not wear a mask. People like stare at you like, what's wrong with you?
So you can disinfect. Something
I'm
like
like,
that.
it's interesting. So no sanitization or whatsoever. Is it?
sorry.
Yeah.
No sanitization or anything when you enter any premises.
They are walking around and doing their sanitizing here and there in between. Every few hours they're supposed to sanitize. I noticed that. But when I was there, it wasn't
you
like
seen?
like when I was in Village Grocer in my office the other day, the trolley. Each time someone brings back a trolley, there'll be a person there like spraying
Oh
on it.
yeah, yeah. And the grocery places are very kind of like well prepared because they've been doing it even throughout the MCO.
Throughout the MCO, correct. So the groceries wasn't really much of the part that I'm kind of worried about. Especially the part that I worried the most is actually the eateries. The food outlet. Because the food outlet, how are you going to do sanitization like every 2 hours?
Everywhere, whenever you walk the table and stuff like that. But I went to look for I want to go clothes shopping and
you can try.
there's sales and everything because they want to encourage people to buy stuff, but you cannot try it, right?
Yeah, you cannot try. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
Have you seen the post that everyone shared about how all the display items are all grown fungus?
Oh yeah, the moldy. Oh my god, yeah.
That was in Penang, but I think that one was because
the leather.
You know why, right? Because that one is actually next to the sea.
It's Penang,
It's in KK. It's in KK, and it's the mall is actually right at the seafront. So
this is the Borneo one Borneo Mall, is it?
Surya Sabah.
Surya Sabah, okay.
Yeah.
It kind of puts me off into thinking like, oh crap, man! By the time when I go shopping right now, I'm not going to try anything that's on display rack.
You're not gonna try anything, right?
You can try.
You might as well stay at home because you can just order it. You still can't try, and then you have to actually go out, write down your names to stay at home.
One thing I'll like you all to you ladies to try. How are you gonna buy lingerie now? Because the laundry shops are open,
So
Last
you mean you didn't
Just use your
know our
wedding
size? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's
You know something? I would like to buy this size at this size, and that's it. I know we know sizes. So it's like you try on clothes. I'll get an M size. I'll get a S size.
Something doesn't need to be tried.
I didn't have same problem when I actually went to a pyramid. I actually managed to go clothes shopping. It wasn't that big of an issue. You look at you agak-agak only lah. It's like
Ali's case is interesting because Ali, you're preparing for your raya, right? So you haven't got any like new baju or anything.
Oh my goodness, that reminds me. My tailor called the other day. The good thing was we actually managed to send our clothes before this whole situation, and the tailor actually has our measurement. So I think if we actually want to
before the 18th of March.
way before.
Okay, so we
you were really
learned very quickly that during Raya time, even without the MPO, your tailors might be like stuck with so many orders. So you send it super early so that you get it on time for Raya. So I think I sent my clothes like in February, sometime in February. Yeah, so she called the other day and she was like, if you want to pick it up, it's actually ready.
Oh, wow, efficient. Right, she has all the time in the world right now to do all the clothing anyway.
So are you gonna stick to the 20 people limit for Raya?
Only first day,
Oh my god.
Imagine 20 people in a 1,000 square feet apartment.
It's okay lah. I got landed property.
Come on.
Okay lah.
Right? You can't just use the number
They're
like
gonna
that.
divide them between the rooms. Take a card. You are in room 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how is it gonna work?
This is also how we actually solve family feuds, right? You actually make them have time out with each other. No, but
I think they should actually implement the working system. Like, okay, you take shifts, okay, so the first day you come, the second day you come.
You need to take the temperature when they come in.
It's like a tandoori, right? People all don't come at the same time. You invite like many people and they all come at staggered times, right?
Only this time you hope that you only have 20 at a given time. So everybody's showing up at one time. But
I have a feeling. I have a feeling they may allow interstate travel in the next couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
Because
Maybe we might miss Raya though. I have a feeling that so many people are actually quite excited to make the interstate travel because I have a feeling some of the people who actually do want to celebrate Raya as it was, they actually just want to hold on to certain types of traditions that you might actually have had through the years. And it's a sense of normalcy. And it's what you want to try to breathe into the situation because everything is so abnormal, right? So that's why like yeah, even actually having like a Raya gathering is something that I think it gives a sense of normal to the situation. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, there's the risk that if you actually do bring people into the household and you actually, are we actually supposed to like impose the SOPs on them? And I was actually contemplating of actually getting the disinfection thingy ready by
Yeah,
the
that's what
door,
I was like
so that
thinking, oh, how do
everybody
you
just
do
like
take the spray? I was like, oh, hi, auntie, wait, before hugging salam or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
was actually looking at, like Vietnam's like, that
Hold on.
where the
No, I
kabok,
hope you are already doing it yourself. Huh?
sorry?
I hope you're already doing it yourself because I've been doing the same things to myself every time
Oh,
I
you
go
mean
out
like
and
the
come back.
spray?
you take a spray, you spray yourself.
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
spray
I mean, you just
myself.
think about
You
it.
spray
I think
yourself?
like, Gulf is all
Oh, I
water,
think
Not, not
lah.
my face lah.
then
Not
Hui
my
has to
face
lah
lah.
because it's going
Do
to
you
carry
like
his
burn your
baby
clothes every
lah.
time you come back?
Yeah.
No lah, don't burn lah, but immediately throw
My
it
dad
over
went
to
out.
another
I was like,
stand.
"Can we burn his clothes? That sounds like a good idea in case the
No,
thing is
I
alive."
think I understand lah because then Hui's case is he's got a kid at home lah. So,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has to carry his kid and everything also. He really
Yeah,
has
I mean,
to
it's so scary, right?
Yeah, I will not
What if
touch
you
her
go bring
when,
back some germs to your kid?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been doing
I
it
think
all
there's
the
a whole
while.
ritual, right? Do you guys have certain rituals now that you go out and when you come back in?
Come back.
Like me, it takes me a while just to get ready to, leave the house. And then when I come back, I don't touch my daughter. I just, walk in and then I run up and bathe and, take my clothes
Yeah,
and
pretty
washing
much that.
machine and
Come back with the
Yeah,
Bathe,
exactly.
clear up.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's why I hate going out. There's just too much effort involved.
Yeah.
No, like just go out when you
I
really
agree,
need to
right?
and do one
Stay
shot.
home.
Yeah, like really necessary because there's so much like the process of just coming home takes you like 1 hour just to like be rid of whatever that you are trying to avoid, and it's quite a daunting process. So going out, you're like, okay, don't touch this, don't touch that. We're so used to being touch. I don't know, like touchy. Like you touch the groceries, and when I first bought groceries, right, I will wipe every grocery, and I'm like, this is taking me 3
Oh
hours.
yeah, that's another ritual. Correct.
That one I just put them in the fridge because I
So
believe
did I.
they'll die. Oh, and,
No,
I
even
I do the same thing. I actually wipe them before I put them in the fridge.
You do? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Though.
I'm
That's
not
a
that
good
paranoid
idea.
yet.
Yeah. One are YOLO, right?
But you see, when you have a kid, right? You buy Vitagen,
Of
for
course,
example.
yes,
You just take a
yes,
Vitagen,
yes,
put in your counter. Immediately, my daughter comes and she wants to take the Vitagen. I'm like, no, it's COVID time. You can't do that. You can't tell a 2-year-old that. So
Yeah, that's true.
I have a question. Will you keep
So we have
those
no
type of
choice.
practices after let's just say they find a vaccine, right? Would you actually try to encourage the same type of behavior after this whole COVID season passes? Like, tell your kid that, oh, it's like please wash the Vitagen or please wash your hands, wash everything, sanitize. So
Like,
will the
Technically,
hygiene
we're
also
supposed
be
to be watching.
sanitized?
Actually, we're supposed to be washing our hands and washing all this stuff
Yeah.
even before
Yeah,
COVID-19.
yeah.
Actually.
Yes,
It's,
true.
it's, it's
Yes,
just it's just
It's just that we are more cautious
putting it into
now.
practice. Yeah, yeah. You are
Yeah.
supposed to
hygiene
wash
part
stuff
is
when
a
you
good
bring
thing,
back. You're supposed to wash it, and wash your hands before you eat. Wash your face always. Like if it's
Yeah.
a packed food, you're supposed to clean it
Yes.
properly.
So
Yeah, we just
I think
an
You
idea.
realize we have
Aline
not been doing
actually
it
I
for a
think
long
Aline
time.
actually raised up a very interesting question, which like once this pandemic thing is over, like they have gotten a vaccine and everyone has actually every this thing is case is handled well, okay, and everyone is doing very well handling it, that kind of thing. Do we still practice this same way of sanitization after that? I think that's an interesting question. It's like because I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like even right now, after this CMCO thing, even after they lift up this whole thing, right, or the social distancing thing, I think after this, right, nobody really bothers much about social distancing anymore, like
Actually, it's
about,
true. It's true because whether
right?
you have a vaccine or not, people already don't really give a damn about it already. I mean,
Yeah,
not just in Malaysia, but all over the world. I mean, you see
right.
in countries like US and UK, they really don't care. They think it's some.
US, they purposely, it's on principle that you don't abide by this.
Yeah. So
Freedom.
It's like
whether we
I
have
even
a
tell her,
vaccine or
like,
not,
I ever heard like UK say, oh, it's fine to open back schools in June or something. I was like, are you kidding me? So fast we want to open back the
Well,
schools and
football's
have
coming
to
back
go back,
in June 1st,
Oh,
so
yeah,
yeah.
football.
Oh my
but
Maybe
it'll
god.
be
I
a
actually think that
good thing.
it's a really good time for.
Sorry?
Yes, Aline, yes.
No,
It's
I
a
was
really
I
good
was
time.
thinking that it's actually a really good time for like the Ministry of Health to actually encourage, like, do some really great like strategic comms or like PR on like really good hygiene practices and try to instill
Yeah.
it in society. I think there are certain things that's probably a little out of reach, like, you know, having to rendam your clothes every single time you come back from somewhere. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's a
whether
bit.
that sounds like paranoia into a hygiene, but
True. But you see, like
well,
what Aaron
hygiene
mentioned
business
about
comes
is like
like
some
this.
of this hygiene, some of this hygiene methods that you have learned, right? You know, this is actually a basic hygiene methods that you should implement. I mean, like, you know, you look at Japan culture. Japan culture is when you have cough or you have a little flu, right? You always wear a mask because you know they don't want to spread the
Yeah.
germs out. So it's a very normal thing in their culture that they do it even before this whole, you know,
Yeah.
COVID situation, correct? But I don't think that I see like especially our community have this kind of this society have this kind of implementation where oh it's just a little fluish, you know, just you know sneeze a few, you know, the kind of thing. I don't think anyone's going to like you know wear back masks and stuff. I don't think so.
Well,
You
if you
know.
look at it, even right here, right now, tomorrow, it's a Friday, and some states are already saying like you can go back to the mosque and pray. So
Yeah.
But it's limited
yeah,
to only maximum
yeah,
30 people.
12,
Right.
to 20. Yeah.
12 or 30, the idea of allowing people to go back is already showing that the new normal only lasted for that MCO
Yeah,
period,
it's
then it's going
fine.
to go back to the old normal,
It's
basically.
like you know they're just
Yeah.
limiting the numbers,
I
but
mean, you see people walking around, right? Like normal.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
see
mean,
like
look at
families
airlines.
going out, like 4, 5 of them together. It's like
Yeah, you see,
whatever.
they don't allow interstate travel, but
Mm.
you allow airlines to have full capacity now. I'm a bit
Oh,
confused with that part of the rule.
You know,
I know,
actually,
don't allow
But
it
that's
seems
why
interstate.
the Air Asia flight, they had all of the 200
Yeah, there
over
are two
people
flights.
get
Yeah,
tested, right?
to
To
recover.
full
Sabah.
Yeah,
capacity.
Yeah,
full
so it's
capacity
just
now you allow, and but you say you don't allow interstate travel. So I'm wondering who's taking these flights and who's going back to Sabah. So
true.
can't be all students
can't
only.
drive,
Yeah.
interstate
Right.
driving.
So you
Uh,
can't drive,
but
but you
if you
can
go from
fly.
you can fly from KL to Penang, KL to Langkawi or wherever else, JB.
So
I'm
maybe
sure those
you
flights
can,
are
yeah.
still available.
So maybe you cannot drive
Maybe
to
flying
Penang,
is
but you
safer
can fly
somehow.
to Penang. You know.
Flying, they can deny you. They know exactly where you're going to come in, and then they can actually
Yeah,
Oh my
so
god!
you
But
know, bring you
actually,
to the corner.
yeah, I know. Actually, flying is even more dangerous, man. You know. Oh, gosh. You know. Okay. So,
Small enclosed space.
in for that amount of time
okay.
with
Okay.
somebody there. Yeah.
No, but it's true,
And
Aaron.
another.
Like today,
Yeah.
I just want to add, like
Yes.
today, I think was it yesterday or today they allowed dining, right? In Selangor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
Allowed that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So today I went to the restaurant. People are already sitting in,
Oh,
to
are
dine.
they? Wow.
So it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's up to you at the end of the day,
religions
lah.
way.
You want to go or
Come
don't
on.
want to go. Yeah.
But I think so.
I think
So
there's so
actually,
many.
the reason why places are not crowded yet is probably because of the hassle rather than people are scared of death.
Hmm.
So
I think
we
it's
are
a little bit
so
also you won't
complain
get
so much about it.
yeah, but you won't get full capacity yet, and it will take a little bit of time. So to be honest, even like the ones who allow like dine in for now it will take a long time for the businesses to get up back again. You know, I think there definitely be a lot of casualties along the next couple of months.
But you must remember,
Yeah, that's
people,
true.
there will always be that group of people who feel like it's all right. I can go and eat. I'm safe.
Yeah,
I'm,
Right. I think Maxine actually
the
mentioned.
romantic dinner,
I think Maxine actually mentioned this before. Like, oh, what is CMCO? They say CMCO is just like back to business
Go
as
back to normal.
usual.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I
there's
think you need to.
pubs,
My theory is that
there's no
sorry.
saloons, all that yet. Yeah.
You know, I actually, my theory with the CMCO is that they actually needed people to actually still be aware that COVID exists. Because if you were to actually just go from MCO to no MCO, then everybody is just going to go, hallelujah, streets and party tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
They want to put the MCO name inside there just to say that hello, it's not back
Yeah.
yet. You know, well, you know, so they will have CMCO, BMCO,
CMCO
Yeah, what
two,
will happen after
MCO
June 9?
three,
OMCO, you know,
MCO. Yeah. So
any other thing with an MCO to show that it's still not there yet. Okay, we're getting there, you know, the kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so this is another question that I just want you guys to maybe think about, like, because since you guys are talking about the food outlet opening and stuff like that. So what about the rest of the sectors? Because we know that there are still some sectors that they have yet to fully have them back to business, right? Like hair salon, I really need that. Okay, you know, like you know, massage parlor and nail parlor, all these things, you know. Those things, there's like, no, you cannot go back. Cinema is like, you cannot go back yet, the kind of thing. So when do you think these sectors will be back to business? When do you think so?
Pretty soon, I think. I'll be pretty soon. Cinemas, because it's too much of a loss.
Yeah.
The government collects tax from movie tickets as well. So it's entertainment tax and all that involved. So I guess how the cinemas place it, probably they'll be like alternate seats or something like that. Probably no.
Yes, I saw I sense as well.
But they will still definitely make a loss, because if you need that 1 meter of
they can increase the ticket price.
Really?
They can.
So like,
why? I mean,
making it more expensive for people to go.
If you're a film buff and you love movies, and then you want to catch this new movie it's going, and the ticket is like, instead of paying 15 ringgit, they charge you 30 ringgit. You'll be like, oh, I really want to watch it. 30 ringgit.
Oh, that better come with like many popcorns and then like maybe 2 cups of drink, 3 cups of drinks or something like that, right?
Yeah, but Aaron, you can practically occupy 5 seats, because of all the seats around you are.
They'll charge you as well. They'll give you that
luxurious experience.
He can sit on all those moldy seats.
Actually, I kind of sense like, in terms of movie that I think, they might be opening back quite soon, because it's possible to implement it. It's possible.
Actually,
probably
I'm not sure how China is doing it, because China has reopened their cinemas.
I don't know. Disneyland, do you know that? They're
opening
back. Shanghai is opening back Disneyland. Do you know that?
So I don't know how they're going to implement, what kind of rules are they implementing there. So
how?
I haven't been following that news there, but it's interesting to see how they do it. Same with hair salons and barbers, which is when they open hair salons and barbers, you can't really. How you see funny videos of the guy using a long stick and cutting hair.
Use robots.
They just have to sanitize their hands before that.
But it's also not that you still have your eyes, which is exposed when the person beats down on you. If you go, I don't know about female hairstylists, but for men, when I go to my Indian barber, he's always like breathing down my neck and cutting my hair and like. If you wear a mask, how is he going to shave you? It's like,
and not you, him.
It's going to be interesting, how they do all this.
It's like, I think, especially because I read some of the articles like from other countries, Asian countries, right? Some of the, spikes of the cases, the new cases happening is really because when they open up massage, like, the massage centers and the hair salon, that's where they spiked up, the spread.
Singapore is reopening, I think, this week or next week. I think the hair salon.
Hair salon opening this week or next week?
Yeah, in Singapore.
I'm a bit fearful.
There was a line right outside of the hair salon in Singapore. I think it already opened up this week. I have a feeling I should just
right? Yeah, I think this week or next week.
Well, I'm a bit fearful, because like you said, it's true, because there's definitely a close distance contact. And how are they going to, even though how they sanitize themselves and stuff like that, I think there's still that layer of risk that you're still having over there, So it's like, if you do massage and all, and do facial and all this thing, the person who do facial has always been wearing mask, but why is it that there's still potential of being spreading the virus? Means that definitely
if they need to use their hands to touch your face, that's it,
Yeah,
but also because like you have strangers actually coming. I mean, it would be different. If you have like a personalized service, let's just say you have, because if by the logic that you should be in touch with your close contact of people, right? Then you actually know where the spread can actually happen. But I guess the problem with places with such close vicinities is that you have strangers coming into the massage places, and then you can write down your details, but then you don't know where the stranger has been.
Which one?
Actually, when you think about it, all of these, the rules and regulations and whatnot is more for like tracking purposes, so they can, find out where you go, where and who you got it from. But it is nothing to do with really controlling it, because there's no there's no cure, there's no vaccine. So the whole purpose of the MCO, CMCO, and EMCO was
basically just to track.
Yeah, it's not to overwhelm the healthcare system, because you can never get rid of it. Whatever they do,
probably by the end of the day, if they say that, this person got it, and then so this person you track where this person has been to, and basically the places that he's been to, everyone who has went through those places will all have to go and do check.
Yeah, but you just can't stop it. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
The same thing with entertainment places like clubs and dance.
Yeah. I think that's how Korea got it back. Korea got it back.
Yes. Because of the bath. Yeah. Oh,
Drink
this is
at home,
crazy.
guys. Don't go to
But
club.
in Shanghai it's the same
What?
as well,
No,
right? My friend is clubbing in Shanghai,
your friend is
with
clubbing
a
in
mask.
Shanghai right now.
But
With a
clubbing,
mask?
With a mask.
yes,
I think he needs a hazmat
That's
suit. It's
dedication.
not
with
a
a
mask.
mask.
It's even like a
They have
oh
to
my
wear a
god.
mask. But they're clubbing with masks and I don't know.
The clubbing in COVID should be like with the whole like gear and stuff.
So you're wearing the
And the
face
diamond
shield
But
and
that being
everything.
Stuff
said,
like Daft Punk, Daft Punk with everything
Oh,
covered
yeah,
up
we
with
did.
helmet.
Oh, God, the
Yeah,
Yeah, no, and
that's
after you
the
put
way.
on your clothes, right? Oh my
but it's
goodness.
sort of opened up a business sector by itself, right? People are now making masks with different designs, and in like Ghana, for example, they're using their traditional cloth to make they use like our batik. They are using their form of batik to make those masks, and a lot of business owners, like the government in Ghana, actually gives them money to actually create those masks instead of importing it, from different countries.
Wow.
So their business is kind of growing, and some sectors like they are starting farming. So they're going into the more essential businesses that actually ran during our restrictive movements. But in Malaysia, I think we are still doing the whole, ordering things from China, and I think
But
for
the
I
us,
don't know.
we are a
I
little
feel
bit
like
different.
there was a
something
conversation
with
we
the
were
mask.
having.
Really?
yeah.
No, I was actually thinking something with the mask is that I remember in the early days, everybody was actually quite concerned about the quality of the mask. Like they
Yeah.
insisted it has to actually be
And
surgery level
N95.
quality.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
any mask
and
you
Now it's
get.
like, wear a
exactly.
mask.
That's the surprising part. So I feel like after all this host of like DIY videos coming from the States, like how do you actually, wrap your scarf to actually make a mask? Then all of a sudden I see more people actually coming out with different types of masks lah. But
Yeah.
I thought that because this was one of our
Yeah.
reasons that we were so preoccupied with having the surgery mask or that like layer, it must be certain
Yes,
layer
yes.
because otherwise the microorganisms or whatever cannot go through
Yeah.
because of the quality.
Yeah, because if you see, this is also as a part of a business gimmick kind of thing. It's like, they know that they cannot produce that many masks, and they know that, if everyone wants on the global scale wise, they have to have a demand on that certain type of mask, right? The businesses of everything else will be running out soon. So I guess that's why they come up with alternative ways, just to say, oh well, it's not really you need to do that. You can still try this, as an alternative. You can still keep yourself safe, in any ways possible, the kind of thing. So I guess that's why they came out with all these kind of alternatives.
But it's
Just to
definitely a business
right.
opportunity. I mean, we were having a conversation about like whoever's getting a lot of spam emails from people offering business services. So,
Yeah.
so my email
We
address
had it this
is
morning.
on the company website. And one of the emails that I've been getting a lot of is from mask producers and PPE companies. So they're like spamming emails saying that they're offering and they will give this catalog that's very, very detailed about like 10 different type of hand sanitizers. They're all like 70% or 60%, alcohol.
DIY yourself, is it? No.
And I'm like, wow, it's like there's so many people trying to, go into
This is a
this
spam
sector.
email that's actually relevant. What I got was like really, really
What
just
did you get, Benway? What did you get?
Email.
people advertising, their services that are like not really essential at the moment.
And that's why they need to advertise because they have no business.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to wrap up the last question. And of course, usually the last question will be, what do you think, should be done, to get people feel much more safe and, confident in coming back out during this CMCO time? What do you think what are some of your suggestions, that anyone can implement, or better SOPs, or more stricter restriction or
I think
whatever it is?
I think it goes down to your own self-discipline at the end of the day. If you
Mm-hmm.
feel that the virus is something serious, I mean, it's real, but it goes down to you whether how much precautions you want to take. Do you want to go out? You can always stay home. You can choose to stay home. You can choose to just go to
Like
work
me?
and come back home.
Like
Yeah,
me?
if your job allows you to work from home, just continue doing that. And
Yeah.
you don't really have to go out to malls and to groceries. You can always do stuff online. So it goes down to your own self-discipline at the end of the day, whether you want to take that risk going out, and when you go out as well, it also goes down again to self-discipline, whether you want to wear your mask or you don't want to wear the mask, whether you want to dine in at a restaurant or you don't want to dine in a restaurant. So it's all goes down to individuals. If we practice what we think is right and keep ourselves clean and always wash hands and all that, everything should be fine.
Yep. Maxine, anything to
Mhm.
add?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 100%. It's a lot of it's like self-discipline. At the end of the day, it's the new normal. You know, it's yeah. There's only so much regulations you can impose, and it's impossible for people to or the government to do the enforcement at such a granular level, like going to people's houses, checking whether we
Yeah,
already have 30 people for
possible.
Raya or whatnot. It's almost impossible. So it's whether people themselves take it seriously, and I think as long as there's this fear of COVID and people don't get complacent about it, or they see the numbers rising, then there will be this the definite kind of discipline in place, but it's up to us also. We just have to follow it.
Mm, mm. Aline, anything to add on that?
Well, I would probably state the obvious, which is finding the vaccine would be useful. I think everybody will come out. I think everybody will be fine.
Exactly, please.
Yeah, but aside from that, I feel like somehow my optimism in Malaysia's resilience means that I have a feeling when they actually see people actually going out, and then it can be a herd mentality kind of thing. People would
Yeah.
actually go out, and when you actually do need a break, but whether you would actually go out as frequently as before, that would be a question mark. And
Mm,
I feel like there should be a response, a two-pronged response, like one that's personal and the second one which is actually for the business sector. Like how do you actually
mm,
get the business sector to actually go out? But I can't really say that I'm actually so well versed in the second one. Yeah.
mm.
Aside from that, I completely agree with Maxime and Aaron.
So, what other additional SOPs do you think that they should implement? Zedway, anything to add?
Going back to the earlier question, right, about
Yeah,
what can make
can be
people
improved. Yeah.
come out again and so on. Actually, there's one very important factor apart from the fear of this virus and the fear of dying is the fear of job loss and income loss, and that's
Yeah.
the reality
Yes.
that's happening
Yes.
right now for a lot of people, and that's why
Yes.
they can't wait to get back out because they need to look for jobs. Businesses need to go back out because they need to
Yeah.
start operating and stop bleeding. So it might come down to a point where people will be like, I can't, I just, even though the virus might be out there, I have to get out and have to get out to work. Um, because if not, I either die of hunger or I die of the virus.
I
Mm,
just want to
mm.
add something to what
Yes.
Zenhui said. Yeah,
Yes.
people may have to go out to find work, but then the other question is there work for them as well?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
why
I
it's
mean,
even
our HR
harder.
minister has said, human resource minister said, go get whatever job that is out there. But seriously, there is no whatever job out there, right?
Yes.
If you take all
Yes.
the foreign, I mean, all the construction job, what's going to happen to the foreign workers? You're going to send them back? I don't think so. It's going to still be here. So there's always a catch-22 there as well. And I
Yeah.
noticed, another thing I wanted to talk about is I noticed in the comments about this, someone made about tracing apps. I just want to say
Yes.
that when it comes to tracing apps, I personally don't think it's that successful because there are many false positives from it. The best way
Mm.
is always, of course, to still write your name down and all that. But the problem with tracing apps, when you put it in your mobile phone, it uses Bluetooth technology, and Bluetooth technology is, apart from being very battery draining, it doesn't give the really accurate result on
Yes.
where you are.
That
You
was
have a
the one
lot,
that day, remember I asked you, right, Aaron, about
a lot of
how
false
workable
positives.
is
Yeah.
it, right?
It's not
It
Yeah.
is
compulsory,
possible to a
right?
certain extent,
Uh,
and
But
also
even
you
with
can't.
those temperature guns, because there's so
Yes,
much
I
that
know
you
it.
temperature guns
Yeah.
also doesn't really
recalibrate it
track
as
well.
well.
Yeah,
You
doesn't
take
Because
the
track.
same
yeah,
machine with the same setting, you put it on your forehead, you get two different readings.
yeah, exactly.
Mm, mm. Yeah.
Listen, outside and inside, you get two different readings already,
Like it's
even though
like
it seems like
that is really something because today I was like watching the TV, and they're having some parliamentary meeting or whatever thing they have going on, right? And these people when they go in, they just track other and just go in, just track other. I'm like, so these are the kind of procedures you are doing, is it? But
Yeah.
how much is it? Is it going to be workable or is it going to,
it's basically for the ease of mind. I mean, I'm guessing as well.
yeah, I think it's just a
Not
It's a
psychological kind
psychological
of
thing,
thing,
like, oh,
right?
this person's temperature is below.
That's
Come on,
good, you're
man, you could be
fine,
having
So we
something
are
else.
safe.
And
It's 100%.
you could
I
be
don't know,
going
are
to rob
you
the bank
going
and you're
around?
wearing a mask, and they just take your temperature. Okay, you can go and rob the bank now, right?
Yeah,
How are you going to know that?
There
yeah,
was a
which
video going
reminds
around
me.
where everybody had like 32, 33 Celsius, and then it was going viral, and people were like, "That's you're basically a reptile. What's going on?"
that's something that I actually want to raise as well. Actually, it's very interesting because when it first started, right, we are still before the MCO thing going on, right, we did the tracking thing in our campus as well, and some of our colleagues, right, it was very hot that day, and you walk
Malaysian
out for
weather, of
lunch,
course.
and then you come back from lunch and you track
And you
clean.
can't get back in.
Yeah. And then you're going to tell the guard and say, hey, but I have a meeting going on after this. I have a class going on after this. I really need to go back to my class. And say, but you cannot come in because your temperature is very high. Can you please lower down your temperature? Like, how the hell are you going to do that?
So how do you lower down?
They make you wait for about 15 minutes.
Wait, they
and then,
wait.
and then they take the temperature again. Yeah,
Oh,
after
wow.
15 minutes.
Well, one time I was in a
Yeah.
client's office, and then some of us, because we walk in the hot sun,
Yeah.
definitely was way too
They
high.
definitely go up,
But-
yes.
But we were just waiting below the aircon blowing on us. So it's like,
Well,
Yeah.
luckily,
No
there
need
wasn't
aircon for 5
aircon
minutes.
blowing. We were right outside the campus there, and it's like they ask you to wait for another 5 or 10 minutes, but you're clearly waiting under the sun.
In the
You're
sun.
under the heat. Like, how are you going to go down your temperature? I also don't know how. This kind of people. It's ridiculous, seriously. So it's actually not accurate. I feel that it's really not accurate. I mean, yeah, you see the way that some of the countries they actually implement, like I see Korea, the way, right, they literally put a booth in every corner of whichever district area, and then they literally have people going in and checking and everything. So that's very thorough. But I would say it's just like okay, masuk teep,
But a
then
lot of
masuk,
companies are doing that now.
You mean
Xiao-San,
what,
a lot of
teeping or the booth
companies
thing?
are installing those digital scanners to scan your temperature.
Scanner.
Like
Oh, the
one of
facial
our
recognition.
students,
Yeah.
Alvin was saying
I haven't seen that yet.
they
Is
are
that
doing
happening
that.
in
They're all installing. I mean, it's a new business now.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
New
But
normal.
that one, yes, that one I would say is definitely much more accurate compared to that beep beep thing that they have, lah. So that is something that they should think about as well. But of course, depending on whether the company want to invest or not. So
No, no,
thank
Yeah,
you.
they mostly don't need it. Yeah.
even if they use that thing, you come back from a hot sun, you're still going to be 40 degrees.
True.
Here's a question, right? Let's
Yes,
our weather.
it goes back to the same issue, right?
No,
Yes,
if you're
yes,
32
agree.
degrees or whatever,
Yes.
and then they make you wait, and then you actually test
Yeah.
again, and you're 38 degrees. Do you actually
Yeah.
immediately go to the doctor after that? Is that like a common reaction for you?
No.
You're in the car, and then you try the
They
next
stood
shopping
there,
mall.
and then I think they did a check. They did 3 to 4 times check just to ensure that they can actually lower down the temperature. Only he can come in. I was like, oh my god, you must be kidding
Yeah,
me.
but you could be infected already by then, right? What if he's really sick?
So I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's workable, lah. I mean, especially from our country kind of weather, definitely not very, lah. So thank you very much, everyone. Today, we really had a very enjoyable discussion session. So thank you, everyone, for your time, and
Yes.
thank you.
Guys are very lively bunch.
Yeah! Woo! We have survived it! Woo! So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. So hopefully, Cheryl, anything you want to add for the next episode?
Not at the moment because we are quite busy at the moment, but we are trying to get one of the content creators on LinkedIn to talk about how he creatively creates content, and it's amazing how he actually comes up with all his content. And a lot of people complain about what to write next, I have no idea, right? But this guy just comes up with, I don't know where he gets it from or his inspiration. And for people who are starting new on social media, especially now, a lot of people are on social media. So how do you kind of get on that momentum and know what to write to the right audience and things like that? So we're probably going to bring him for our other show, the Almost Graduate Show, to talk to people who are starting off on LinkedIn. There's been a increase in numbers, right, for social media, whether it's TikTok or LinkedIn or even Facebook. People coming back, like Xiao-San is back on Facebook now. So a lot of people
Really, but yeah.
back on those platforms because a lot of things has changed, right? And we're relying a lot on these platforms like business to business. You still need platforms like LinkedIn. And now that we're not going back to that physical setting, right? How do we now utilize all these platforms well so that we can get some business? And the leads that you get from LinkedIn, for example, is actually quite high. And people are actually gaining a lot of leads. So how can you now utilize that? And a lot of those people who are producing content on that frequency as well as very quality content, this guy, like every time he posts something, not only their likes, but their massive engagement. People are actually connecting and replying and engaging with him. So how does he get that kind of momentum, right? But
Yes.
it's so interesting how they actually conceptualize it and come up with it. So
Yeah.
maybe the next show we will look at that, but probably in a week or two once we finish all our exams, because work, like Selsan said, right? Work for us is still quite tough.
Yes.
We go into the wee hours of the night just to cope with our deadlines at the moment. So
Yes. Yes. No
working from home
idea.
is kind of crazy, especially
So,
with a kid.
yes, trouble with a kid. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. So please do stay tuned to our next show. I do not know, hopefully by next week or the week after next. But thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you for our panels for taking the time out for today's discussion. We truly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for having us.